Poverty is not just a lack of money. It is not having the capability to realize one's full potential as a human being. Economic growth without investment in human development is unsustainable and unethical. I believe that virtually all the problems in the world come from inequality of one kind or another. Poverty is the deprivation of opportunity. The success of a society is to be evaluated primarily by the freedoms that members of the society enjoy. Empowering women is key to building a future we want. Education can really transform the insecurities in the world into a bigger vision of what we are as human beings. Imparting education not only enlightens the receiver, but also broadens the giver, the teachers, the parents, the friends. No famine has ever taken place in the history of the world in a functioning democracy. Gender inequality is not one problem, it's a collection of problems. Freedom is not only the absence of external restraints. It is also the absence of domination. I think education has a bigger impact on the lives of people than absolutely anything else. Development cannot really be so centered only on those in power. The lack of economic freedom could be a very major reason for loss of liberty, liberty of life. I think that so many of our abilities to do things depend on interaction with each other. Poverty is not really as much of an obstacle to educational expansion as it's sometimes made out to be. If jobs are important, education is important. Anything that increases the voice of young women tends therefore to reduce the fertility rate. No substantial famine has ever occurred in a democratic country, no matter how poor. A society can be Pareto optimal and still perfectly disgusting. Sometimes the lack of substantive freedoms relates directly to economic poverty. There are Muslims of all kinds. The idea of closing them into a single identity is wrong. Being able to read, write, do your sums really transforms a human being. A defeated argument that refuses to be obliterated can remain very alive. Democracy is a universal value. There are few subjects that match the social significance of women's education in the contemporary world. I remain instinctively hostile to communitarian philosophy and communitarian politics. The student community of Presidency College was also politically most active. The first thing to say about economics is that it is a social science, not a branch of theology. Reason and discretion are essential components of a well-functioning justice system. Economic growth by itself will not guarantee social justice. Health is a fundamental right, not a privilege for the wealthy. The world is a more complex and uncertain place than we often think. People are entitled to a decent standard of living, whatever the circumstances of their birth. Human life is enriched by the diversity of cultures. Openness of communication is a powerful tool in the fight against injustice.